Yeah, my name is Sudhams, and I'm holding like 12 plus years of experience in this IT domain. So I've been worked as Linux administrator, Windows administrator as well. After that, I switched my career into DevOps and then different cloud platforms like OpenStack, AWS, Azure. Now I'm working on GCP cloud as well. So this is more of like I started as administrator, then DevOps. So that's how my career is all about. And I hold different certificates from different domains actually, like Kubernetes certification, Azure certification, AWS, and OpenStack as well. OpenStack, by the way, if you don't know, it's like more of a on-prem cloud that you can set up. It's more of a private cloud that you can build with. So this is my basic profile of information. So for this particular course, I know people are coming from different background. It's not that you already have some IT experience, or you might be a fresher, or you might not coming from this particular IT domain as well. So I just want to know before I start this particular demo, how many people are uh, familiar, or maybe you're working in IT industry, maybe different domain. I just want to know. Just raise your hands. That's it. See, this particular course is designed from scratch, which means you have to, even though you have some basic knowledge of it, but I need to start from scratch, which means, as I said before in the curriculum as well, I think you have it. Okay. So first we will be starting with Linux operating system. First, I will give the introduction of the technology, how it works and all. But after that, we have to start with Linux operating system. You might be asking a question like, why not Windows? Because most of the organizations are now using Linux operating systems. So we have more scope of it. So that's the reason why I have took that particular thing as a priority in training this particular DevSecOps, okay, of AWS cloud. So Linux is a common thing that you have to learn. So in Linux, we will not learn into the pure kernel administrative part and all. Whatever is necessary for our DevOps, okay, which means DevSecOps of AWS cloud, that particular components will be learning it, like installation, what is the architecture of Linux operating system, what is the basic commands that you have. So means how will you talk to the operating system? See, the major thing of operating system is I want to talk to the hardware. Okay, so if I need to talk to the hardware can understand only a binary language, ones and zeros combination. So we as a human beings, while you are using it, maybe your application or some XYZ, when we are using it, we have to interact with that particular hardware, right? Hardware components in the sense, like you have this particular hard disk, CPU, memory, all these particular components. Now this operating system will help you to interact with you and interact with the kernel of the which uses to convert your human readable language into machine level and machine level language into human readable. So that is why we are using this operating system like Windows, Android, iOS, Linux, Unix, Mac. All these are operating systems. So your operating system, you have to know how to talk to it. If you don't know how to fetch the information, you cannot interact with the operating system and you cannot run your applications, or you cannot run your program, or you cannot run your scripts. There are many more, right? Okay. So that is the reason why operating system knowledge is basic and that is so important for us. Okay. So that you can imagine that like a prerequisite before entering into any cloud you take or any on-premises environment that you're working with in a product-based company or anywhere, operating system is mandated. So that's where we are starting with that particular component first. In the operating system, as I told you, basic commands, package manager, like how will you install packages, how will you remove the packages. It is similar to how you do it in your Windows system, right? I'll go to a browser, I will search for VLC player, I will download, and I will do next install. It is pretty easy and straightforward in Windows operating system, that to desktop. Or maybe you can take server as so, it is pretty straightforward. But when it comes to Linux operating system, for everything we have to run the commands. Okay, it's not that you have some GUI. Yes, in Linux also we have GUI, which is like a desktop operating system, but we don't use it in real time scenarios. So that's where we have to practice from this particular course itself, how to use a Linux operating system only through CLI. Okay, initially we'll struggle for sure. Maybe not all of them. Maybe the people who are not coming from this background, right? Obviously, you have to put some more efforts. Straightforward. Okay, nothing to hide. So you have to put some more efforts. For example, if someone is learning in 1 hour, maybe you have to put some additional half an hour or 1 hour effort to learn that particular topics. Okay, that is the only difference what we have, the time that you spend. So after the package manager, like how will you install, how will you remove the package, how will you upgrade the package? Okay, so these kind of things we will be learning in package manager. After that, we have users and groups management. Means, see, my credentials cannot be shared. For example, we are all one particular team. We are working for one particular project. Now, everybody wants to log into that particular server, right? Which means, will I share my username password to everybody? That's a security violation, and company will not accept it. And that is not a recommended approach as well. So what we have to do, for every person or every user, we have to create a credentials, and that we have to share it to the team. So they will use their credentials to log into the operating system. So how will you do that as administrator? You have to know, right, how to create a users, how what is mean by groups, how will you create a groups, how will you add a user to the group to manage the permissions, how will you set the permissions for files, which is the next topic, file permissions and all. Okay. So for every file, we can't give full permissions, right? Okay. So we have to know how to control that permissions as well. This comes under security. The user management, file permissions, these all comes under security. That is operating system level security. And the disk management means how much space you have to allocate to that particular server, what kind of application you are trying to install, for what reason you are using that particular server. All these particular factors come into picture, and then you have to take a decision like how much amount of disk space should be allocated to that particular server, and how will you create a partitions, what kind of file system we have to use. All these particular points will come into picture when you learn about this operating system. So that is the initial topic for us, Linux operating system. So any questions from here? Any topic that you are looking at, if you are already aware of this operating system. So this is mandate and important for us to learn. Any questions from here, or we good? If you have any questions, you can raise your hands. No need to. Other people can. Okay. Santosh, you are asking something? You raised your hand. Or maybe Saurabh. No questions? Okay. Then we are good.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So, generally you are like talking about that one, what is it, Unix, right? Unix sort. So,
Yes.
sorry, are you covering in cloud way or in Windows operations you have to cover? Both you are covered, right?
See, for everything you can't use cloud because it is payable, right? Though it is a free trial account, we have certain limits. So I would say to practice a Linux operating system, there is no point of going to the cloud. You can practice in your local system itself. If you have a laptop with a 4-core CPU, 8 GB RAM, that is more than enough. You can set up your Linux operating system in your local system itself. How? I will tell you everybody. For example, can you see this application which is called as Oracle VirtualBox? Imagine this is like an application. Now by using this application, we will create a virtual machine. What is meant by physical machine? The laptop, the PC, the servers, what you see, right? Those are called as physical machines. Now, for everyone, you can't use physical machines, right? Because you are using your a laptop or a computer for your personal use, right? You might be using some Windows operating system or Mac operating system that is for your personal use. Now, in order to learn Linux operating system, will you remove that operating system? Not necessary. I want to use my laptop or a PC for my personal use, and I want to practice Linux operating system without adding some additional cost to it with my laptop itself. How I can do that? By using this application. You can create a virtual machine and you can install operating system inside it, and then you can practice. So whenever you want to practice with the syllabus what I'm teaching, just start this virtual machine and practice. It is as simple as that. It is similar to cloud. Cloud in the sense what? Somewhere you are creating a server, they will manage the server and you are accessing it. Here what is happening? You have the full control of it. What about cloud? They will manage the infrastructure, you have to use the service. Okay, but the top level, what you do is the same. There is no much difference on it. So that's the reason I'm saying while you are practicing Linux operating system, you can use this particular application called Oracle VirtualBox, or if you are familiar with VMware Workstation or any other tool, you can use that as well. I don't have any preference for it. Or if you don't have any idea, I will show you how to install this Oracle VirtualBox, how to create a virtual machine, how to install operating system. As I told you, right, it is from scratch. Is your question answered, Santosh?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Saurav. You're asking something. Is it the same? Okay. Yeah. See, don't feel hesitate to ask questions and all. No one knows anyone, right? So don't feel shy about the question, how stronger it is or how is the question. Okay, forget about it. Just whatever you have in your mind, you can ask the question. Yeah, Prakash. Okay. I'll do one thing. I'll take up the questions at the end of the session. Okay. That would be a better thing. So after completing this operating system, right? So now we are good enough to handle the operating system and all. Then we'll go to AWS. Okay. So I have the PPTs as well, the documents. So how I'm going to share the documents? I have a PPT documents. Okay. I have a Word documents as well, which I'll be sharing as a PDF. And I have a GitHub account where I already have the documents. For example, you can see Docker and Kubernetes. You can go to the syllabus, topics, all the topics which I've covered. I prepared a document. You can go through it whenever you want to read. Okay, you can see there's a document diagrams and you can see the content. Okay, how to set up this. All the things are written here. Okay, so document wise, you don't need to worry. You have to concentrate only on the topics which I'm teaching on daily basis and you have to practice according to it. Okay, that's the first thing what you have to do. Okay, and what are the topics I'm going to cover in AWS? Those are written in this particular PPT slide. Okay, something related to security, compute, all these particular things. Okay, so compute in the sense creating a virtual machines or physical machines as well nowadays in the cloud. Okay, storage, networking, serverless architecture, Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, CloudFront. There are many other topics which we have to learn as part of this particular information technology in the cloud. Okay, AWS is one of the cloud service provider. We'll talk about that particular points later. Okay, so why we have to go for cloud in the sense they will manage all the infra and we will pay only for the service what we are using. So they are called as service providers, cloud service providers. So to talk about that, first we need to know what is cloud computing. Okay, so what is meant by cloud computing? Providing on-demand IT resources over the internet is called as cloud computing. Okay, I'll give you a best example. Like, I hope everybody is using internet at your home, right? What are those called? Internet service provider. Service, forget about internet point. Service provider in the sense what? Because you don't know how to set up this particular network at your home. Someone knows about this. Someone is providing this particular service to your home or office or some particular locations and all. You will talk to them. You will say your locations, all other details. They'll give you some particular quotation and according to that, you will purchase and you will pay only for the service what you are using. You're not worried about their salary, their infrastructure, okay, their other, what is the maintenance and all, right? Only for the network what you have chosen, let's say 100 Mbps, 200 Mbps, 500 Mbps or 1 Gbps network what you have chosen, for that only you will pay the bill. Okay, so they'll have the customers across this particular geographical location. Okay, now that is called as service provider. And if there is some problem, you will not troubleshoot it. You will raise a complaint or you will raise a ticket. Okay, and they will troubleshoot and they will fix it. Okay, so that is internet service provider. I'm talking about cloud service provider like AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and then we have DigitalOcean, OpenStack. OpenStack is not a public cloud. Okay, so all these particular 7 which I've told you right now, these are called as cloud service providers. Okay, to set up the cloud for your organization, means for your company. Okay, instead of your company building this particular infrastructure, they will look at this particular cloud service providers like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, IBM, Oracle. So we are learning about AWS because AWS is most widely used by many of the organizations. So if many of the organizations are using, what is the benefit for me? I will have a more scope, right, to get a job in that particular technology of the cloud what they are using. So that is the reason why we are here of learning AWS as a cloud service provider. Okay. So that is all about cloud computing. AWS comes under cloud service provider. Like Microsoft Azure, what are the other components which I've told you. Okay. Next one is, what is internet? Everybody knows, right? What is internet? Any specific definition for that or a casual sentence for it? What is internet? At least what is a network? What is a network? Anything that you know. There is no accurate to be a, what do you say, a book definition.
Internet.
Sorry?
Internet is a global network of interconnected computers.
No. Network at your home, you are using it, right? Why we use a network?
To
To
communicate
connect the
with
devices.
other device.
Yeah.
To
Simple.
communicate.
See, if I need to talk to you or you need to talk to me, or if group of people want to talk to each other, we have a language, right? Okay. So we have a language, a communication, what we have. What about devices? I have a computer at my home. I have a PC at my home, laptop, printer, smart TVs right now, mobile smartphones and all this particular device as well, right? So how will you connect them? They want to talk to each other. For example, from my system, I want to give a printout. How will you do that? Okay. So network is all about connecting the devices to share the information. Then what is internet? Now you know network, right? What is internet then? See, these are not a new things that I'm trying to ask you. It's something that you already know.
Through internet only we are communicating each other.
Then what is network? Network we are also communicating, right? Then what is internet?
Internet is a network of networks which connect all
network of networks. Which means, for example, I'm sitting somewhere at my home and you are sitting at your home. We are able to talk to each other. How is that possible? Because of internet. Okay. At my home, I have my router, I have my TV and all. I was able to talk to each other. But how I'm able to talk to Google, let's say a YouTube channel, or how I'm opening this particular Teams communication right now? Because of internet. Network over networks. That is all about internet. I told you what is operating system by now. Okay, what is operating system? For example, you take Android, you take iOS, Mac operating system, Unix operating system, Linux operating system, Windows operating system. These are the operating systems what we know, right? Embedded also, but embedded you can keep it aside. Now these operating systems what we are using, because we want to store some information or we want to use some particular component in that particular hardware, we don't know how to talk to it. So my operating system is like a mediator between you and your hardware that will be installed on that particular device. What it does, it will convert your human readable language into machine level and vice versa. That is the reason why we are using operating system. It is as simple as that. What is a website? You are using websites, right? Like Swiggy, Zomato, other websites as well. Why we use it? What is a website? Any answers? Simple answer. What is a website? See, it is a casual interaction. You can talk whatever you want that you know. You're using websites, right? You will order many things over the website, and you might have gone through some particular websites as well.
Yeah. Hi. Hi,
Yeah.
Sudham. So websites, we can say like it's kind of library or something, magazines, so we can visit anywhere like that.
Yes. Okay.
In
I'll
backend,
give.
we are like
Okay. So website is a
Hello.
combination of web pages, right? For example, say this is a website. For example, you have many pages. You have some pages and all. All these combinations together is called as website. Now, in the web page, what we will store data. It could be video, audio, like YouTube channel, right? You might be seeing some videos, audios, text, images. All these called as web page. See, I want to showcase some information. For example, I want to start a restaurant or some business or something, some XYZ. Now, how will you project yourself? Pamphlets sharing and all this, it cannot be done, right? I cannot go to each and every location and share this particular pamphlets and all. That's more of a physical activity. It's more of an expenditure. Now, someone wants to order something. Let us say I'm starting a restaurant right now. Someone wants to order something, or someone wants to see my menu before order something. They want to see my location. They want to see what are the other things that we do, catering or something like that. So how will you showcase this information? What you are, what is your business is all about. For that, we have a website. So website is a combination of web pages to share the data over the network or internet, you can say. Okay. Now, what is information technology? The last and most important one. See, why I'm asking you these questions is we hear this particular terms a lot on daily basis, but somehow we don't know exactly what it is, right? So, and why I'm giving you this example is all about we will be learning in this particular training program from scratch, which means even though if you don't know anything, I'll be training you from the scratch. It's not that I'll be teaching you only high level, only the people who are into this particular IT domain can understand the topics what I'm teaching. No, it's everyone. Even though if you don't have any IT background also, you can learn this particular DevSecOps. But the only thing is you need to have patience enough for the days, number of days what I will be teaching and the practice what you have to do. Any doubts you can ask me. Daily 1 hour of class. Okay, you have to spend 1 hour of class, maybe 78 or 8 to 9. That we'll discuss later. Okay, 1 hour of session. Other times you can practice, right? The rest of the time, what you have, whenever you have some leisure time, you can practice. Whenever you have any doubts, how will you contact me? Or the WhatsApp? Okay, we'll create a WhatsApp group. Okay, and then on that particular WhatsApp group, you can ask your questions. Instead of waiting for the next day and wasting your time, okay, instead of lacking in the syllabus, you can ask me the question in the WhatsApp group itself. Okay, so that is more of an interaction. If I'm not able to respond, someone already knows about this particular issue what you're facing, he will respond, right? This is more of a communication what we are trying to create. Okay, and to solve the gaps as well. This is how we interact. Okay. Now coming back to the syllabus, as I told you, we will be teaching the shell scripting as well. That is also important. Why? Because when you're working with operating system, sometimes you have to perform the task which includes some series of steps that you want to execute. See, I'm talking to the operating system right now. I cannot execute one command, wait for the output. Again, I will execute another command, wait for the output. Again, execute the command, wait for the output. That is not an easy thing, right? When the DevOps culture came into picture, everything is automated. So how will you automate the process on your operating system? By learning the shell scripting. If it is a Windows operating system, we call it as PowerShell. If it is a Linux operating system, we call it as Bash scripting. Okay. So here just I have written shell scripting, but it is actually Bash shell scripting what we will be talking about since we are learning Linux operating system. And in Linux operating system, we have many flavors. We will be using Ubuntu operating system. Why? Because it is open source and the most widely used in the open source operating system is Ubuntu by the organizations. Okay. And coming back to AWS. So these are the services what I'm going to teach. Some are related to backup, some are related to DNS, some are related to authentication, authorization, compute, networking, storage. Okay, we have auto scaling, load balancer, notifications, auditing like CloudTrail, CloudWatch, secrets management, data management. Okay, shell of cloud, code commit. Okay, which is called as Git, database, and Prometheus for monitoring as well. Sorry, can someone please go on Mohit? Okay, thank you. Now these are the services what I'm going to teach, and it is there in the syllabus as well. Okay, you can go through it. So these are like individual topics what I've written in detail so that you can see what are the topics are covered. If you don't know what are the topics I'm trying to cover, what I'm trying to cover, you can check with some people who are having some background on this particular topics. Okay, it's not that I'm giving this particular topics and you are learning it, right? So you do your R&D on this. Okay, like you can see relational database service, Docker and Kubernetes is most widely used by many of the organizations. Okay, and we have to learn as well. Okay, now whatever I'm teaching, you might have a question where we have to practice. The syllabus, what I'm showing you right now, right? Docker, Kubernetes, CloudFront, Certificate Manager, Secret Manager, CloudTrail, CloudWatch, CloudFront. Okay, all this, where you have to practice. AWS is providing a free trial account for 1 year. Okay, we can create a AWS free trial account. We call it a free tier. What is meant by free tier? They will give you this particular free tier account for 1 year. What does it mean? Can I use anything for 1 year without paying any charge? No. There are some limitations. For example, I'll tell you a casual thing that everybody can understand is Google Drive is free of cost. Yes, everybody knows about it, but there is a limitation. What is that limitation? If you go beyond 15 GB, you have to pay the charges like additional 20 GB or 30 GB like that, right? So until 15 GB of data that you store in Google Drive is free of cost. If you go beyond that, you have to pay the charges. So here also for every service that I have listed here, it is free of cost, but there are some services, they have some limitation. For example, you can create a EC2 instance, means a server on AWS cloud. That server, if you run for 24/7, they'll apply the charges. But if you stop, they'll not apply the charges. You created, you ran for 1 hour or 2 hours. After that, you stopped it. There are no charges applied. Then you might ask a question, what about the 2 hours that I ran? For that also, we have some quota. Quota in the sense what? You can run your EC2 instance per month, 750 hours. Okay. So there are limit. You can see Amazon S3 bucket, 5 GB free of cost. If you go beyond 5 GB, you have to pay the charges. Amazon RDS, 750 hours per month database usage is free of cost. Free tag, you can see how many months? 12 months free. You can see the tag here. So in that way, if you want to list some services which are free for 12 months, means 1 year, you can just select this tick box. It will show you all the services. Okay, now I want to see lifetime free, always free. There are some services which are always free. If I select that, you can see always free, free tier up to what? 25 GB. If I go beyond 25 GB, you have to pay the charges. You can see here CloudFront 1 terabyte, free of cost. If you go beyond that, you have to pay the charges. This is lifetime. Okay, and then you can see trails. There are some particular trails, free trails actually, maybe 250 hours. After that, you have to pay the charges. First come, first basis. Okay, in this way, we have multiple options. Now you people will not understand what I'm talking about in detail, but I could say that we will be creating, everybody will create their own free trial account for free of cost. You have to provide some credit card or debit card details. That it will create an account for you and you have to manage it properly. I will let you know how to manage it so that you will not fall into any billing to that particular account. Now, when we have to practice, I could say when we should not practice on AWS. When I'm practicing Linux, it's not necessary to use AWS cloud. If I practice my operating system in AWS cloud or in my local system, it is the same. Because once you enter into the operating system, it is same, right? The commands will be the same. Okay, that is one case. Second case is nothing but when you learn Docker and Kubernetes, right? It is not necessary that you go to the AWS cloud. Okay, this Docker and Kubernetes, what I'm talking, right? That you can practice in your local system. I will show you how to do that. So we will be jumping here and there. to save our billing, and to learn the topic as well. That I will provide you the guidance. You no need to worry at all about this. Okay, that's what I want to share. Okay. Now, once this particular AWS major administrative services are done, then we will jump into DevOps service. After Docker Kubernetes, I told you, right? We will jump into DevOps. Now, though in the syllabus I have mentioned as Jenkins, if you guys want Azure DevOps as a CI/CD pipeline, I can, in place of this particular Jenkins, I'll be teaching. Decision is yours. We will talk about that at the last, okay, as a discussion. But actually, I thought of teaching Jenkins as part of CI/CD. CI/CD full form is continuous integration and continuous delivery. What it does exactly? Sorry, guys. Okay, what it does exactly?
I'm just sorry to interrupt, but just one question I have. So,
Yep.
this Jenkins is a part of AWS, or it is a
No.
part of?
See, Jenkins is not a AWS service. What are the services you are seeing here right now? These are not AWS service. You can see non-cloud tools for DevOps engineer. I've written here. You can see, right? So,
Yes.
what does it mean?
Okay.
All the above services what I've told you are related to AWS. The list what I've given. Now, this particular services are non-AWS related DevOps services. DevOps tools, we call it as. Okay? Jenkins,
Okay, so are
Ansible.
these all included in the course?
Sorry?
Are these all included in the course?
I didn't get it. Maybe I'm missing it.
No, I'm saying, are these all tools like Jenkins, Ansible, Prometheus are included in the course or not?
Yeah. See, whatever I'm listing right now, these are the topics which are included in this course, not excluded. Okay? All these are. Because CI/CD is important for everybody as a DevOps engineer. We have to automate it as a DevSecOps. You have to automate everything, right? See, as a part of SDLC. SDLC in the sense what? Software Development Life Cycle. For example, you got a client to your organization. The clients will give you some inputs. I want this particular application. This is my plan and all. Now you have to deliver that. Okay, for that you have to develop a product. Nothing but a software. Now when you develop that particular software, everything cannot be manual, right? Earlier it used to be manual, long back. After DevOps, DevSecOps and all this particular culture has been adopted by organizations, now everything is automated. What is meant by automated? As a developer, I might be writing some code. Then I have to store it somewhere. Where you will store it? In Git. I have to store it, right? Like this, what I'm showing you right now, Git. We will store the software over here, the code, what we developed. Software in the sense, the code what you have developed related to the software. Because in your organization, you will have many members in your team who will be contributing to that particular development of the software, right? See, everybody will not write a code for each and every component. You might be writing some for home page. Another person might be writing for contact us page. Another person might be writing for gallery. For example, I'm giving you as a website. Okay, together you will store the code in the Git. After the code has been stored in the Git, what you have to do? You have to convert that into a software, right? As an executable file, I could say. How will you do that? Will you do it manually? No. By using this particular CI/CD tool, you will do that, which is continuous integration and continuous delivery. I will talk about this Jenkins later because I want to have a discussion with you guys whether Jenkins or Azure. Okay, I'll talk about that later as well.
Okay.
After that,
So,
Ansible.
is this does this need a coding part as well? Like,
No. We are not doing any coding for this.
Okay.
It's not coding. It's called as domain-specific language. Means you have to follow some syntax. That's all. It's not a coding that you will be writing. Like classes, inheritance, polymorphism. That will not be there. Okay?
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
So there are three terms more popular actually and quite related and confusing, like DevOps, DevSecOps, and SRE. So there are three
Yes.
terms. What are the difference actually in this?
Okay. Can we take up that question at the end, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. I'll make a note. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we'll take up the questions at the end. We have a Q&A session as well, and I will talk more about it. Okay. Let's say next Ansible. See, CI/CD part you have learned and you are able to automate everything in your organization. What does it mean? Developer will write the code, he will push it. After that, compiling the code, okay, and deploying that code, everything will be taken care by CI/CD. Like Jenkins, we have Travis CI, or we have Azure DevOps pipelines, or we have AWS code pipeline. All these are examples. Okay. Now, what about Ansible? What you're seeing on the screen right now, it is called as configuration management tool. What does it mean? Let us say a simple example. I have given you 10 servers, or maybe 20 or 30 servers, or some hundreds of servers. Now, I told you to configure something on all the 100 servers. I told you to do some particular installation, or I said that to execute some particular steps, okay, on that particular on that particular service. So how will you do that? Will you log into each and every server and do one by one? It will take some days together, right? Even though some multiple people are sitting on that, it will take some days together. And it is a human interaction, right? We might do some mistakes. Some people might follow all the steps what they have written in the document. Some people may intentionally or unintentionally, they will skip some steps. How will you overcome this? I want to ensure that in all the servers, all the commands have been executed properly. So there has to be some tool, right, which will do on behalf of you. I will tell the tool what to do, but how to do that, that tool will take care of it. You understood the concept, right? I will tell the tool what to do. Okay. How to do that, tool will take care of it. So now this particular Ansible tool, you will write some YAML file. For example, I'm saying in the YAML file, you will write the task in the sense step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, something. Some steps. Forget about what is the step. Some steps. What has to be done on that server. Now this Ansible tool will contact to all the servers and it will execute the steps and it will give you the result. Now you have saved your time and everything is automated. You have everything to be monitored and you have the results, right? So process has to be as fast as possible. See, if I need to deliver the product to my customer as soon as possible, what we have to do, automate everything. So that is where, as a DevSecOps engineer, we are learning this particular tools as well. How to utilize this particular tools to automate the process. Okay, Ansible is configuration management tool. Then what about Terraform? So Terraform, you have to concentrate more, a lot. Why? Because Terraform is a replacement of managing the infrastructure. What is the infra? It could be AWS infra, it could be a Microsoft Azure infra, or on-premises infra, or IBM infra. Infra in the sense what? Creating something on the cloud. Will you create it manually? No, right? So there has to be some tool who will do the job on behalf of you. Same thing. I will tell the tool what to do. The tool has to do the job of creating that particular service or deleting the service or managing the service, updating, modifying, all these things. So if you learn Terraform, I can manage all the cloud service providers. Today you might be learning AWS as part of this particular course. Once you entered into your organization due to some project changes and all, you might be shifted to Azure or maybe GCP cloud. Will you learn another tool to manage the infrastructure of the clouds? Not necessary. If you learn Terraform, I can manage any cloud. Only thing is you will modify the data, that's all. That is the reason why Terraform is most widely used by many of the organizations to manage their infrastructure, okay, on the cloud. You can take any cloud as an example. Since we are talking about AWS, I'll be teaching you AWS, how to use Terraform for AWS. But it doesn't make much difference of how to use Terraform for Microsoft Azure or GCP cloud or IBM cloud or Azure, Oracle cloud, any other cloud. It's the same. The syntaxes, the approaches, the files, the commands, the workflow, everything will be the same. Even for that also, I have a documentation I'll be sharing you. Okay, I'll just show you one document which I already have. Terraform. Let me show my documents. Already signed in, right? Terraform. I'm not logged into my repository, so that's the reason. Terraform deep dive. Okay, you can see, right? These are the syllabus, what I'm going to teach in Terraform. Why I'm not discussing all these particular points? Because there is no point of discussing. Why? Because you don't know what is Terraform resources, variables, data source, and all these things, right? But I just want to say you that this is the syllabus. You can see many people of the students have been forked it. Forked it in the sense, if you want to keep it in your repository, we can do that. I'll tell you how to do this, all these things, once you learn Git. Okay. So I just want to share the thing that these are the documents what we have. Okay. You no need to prepare any documentation. All the things are written here. The step-by-step process. Okay. Now coming back to the point. After Terraform is done, Prometheus and Grafana, we have to learn how to monitor. For example, on Kubernetes, you are deploying some application, some X application. So I want to know how much resource is used by that application. Okay, how much CPU, how much memory, how much disk, how much network is utilized. All these things I want to capture. So will you go physically and monitor that? No, right? Somewhere I need to see it visually. Capturing the data is one thing that will be done by Prometheus. Visually, I want to see it, right? So how will you see that? Means it will show the graph like this. I'll show you Grafana once. Grafana. So this is like a dashboard. I'll show you just a second. It looks like this, for example. Okay. So here we can see the utilization, memory, CPU utilization, how many people have logged in. Okay, in the pie chart, you can see in the bar as well, like how this particular utilization was done. So what is the usage of this? What is the benefit of this? You can share this particular results. Visually, you can see and understand, right? Instead of looking at the data is not understandable by everybody. But by looking at the graph, I can understand what is happening, what is the utilization. Okay, so to capture this information, we have to learn about Prometheus and Grafana. Prometheus will grab this information. Grafana will show you the details like this. The visualization tool is called as Grafana. Okay, metrics and all this particular data will be captured by Prometheus. Where we use this one? In Kubernetes. The topics which I've told you, right? Docker and Kubernetes, there will be learning about this. After that, I told you Git. Git has to be learned by everybody. Whether you are a senior developer or let's say you're a DevOps engineer, DevSecOps engineer, or you are a manager, whatever it is, everybody should have a knowledge on Git. Because every person who is contributing to the development of the code could be anything like Terraform code, Ansible code, or maybe Jenkins data. Everything will get stored in the Git. So you know to know what is the commands, what are the commands we have to use, how to store the data in the Git. If something goes wrong, how will you retrieve it? All these things we'll be learning under version control system. SonarQube is something like static code analysis as part of security, right? See, there are many security services and tools we'll be learning as part of DevSecOps. Okay, one of them is also nothing but SonarQube. So, for example, as a developer, I'll be writing some code in the form of file. Now, before compiling that particular code, I need to know what are the bugs or what are the duplication of the codes that we have in that particular file my developer has written. How will you capture it early before the code has been compiled? That particular job will be done by SonarQube. SonarQube is also, we have enterprise version, open source version as well. Okay, but we will be using open source one. And I will show you how to use it in CI/CD pipeline to automate and capture the results as part of SonarQube. Okay, and other security strategies, tools we will be using is Trivy, Kubebench, Kubelinter, Docker security for infrastructure as a security. Okay, so these are the additional tools what we will be learning as part of security. Now, security, see, DevOps plus security is nothing but DevSecOps. Okay, so DevOps is not a tool or DevSecOps is not a tool. That is a culture. Culture in the sense, if I need to develop a product, what are the things I have to implement in my organization, or what are the tools I have to use in my organization so that I can deliver the product as much, I can speed up or I can deliver that particular product to my client as early as possible to compete it to the market, right? I cannot say that I will deliver this particular product after 1 year or 2 years or something. What we will do, first we'll release one product with some beta version. We'll ask our clients to use it. Then we'll implement one more feature, one by one, one by one. For example, if you look at WhatsApp, earlier we don't have a group chat, right? Group calling, group chat, all these are not available. Now we are able to see group chat. When the group chat was there in WhatsApp, we don't have a group video call. Group voice call is video call, voice call, both are not available earlier. After we got adopted to group chat, then we got an option called video call. See, these are like implementations. It is a step-by-step process. First, people have to use your product. So first I need to release one product. So how will you do that? By using these particular tools. So we have to know what are the tools we have to use in our organization so that we can deliver the product in the development side, in the operation side, and in the security side as well. So your job is to identify the tools and you integrate them, not individually, right? Or finally, we have to integrate all these particular tools to deliver the product. Okay, so that is where we will be learning in this entire training program, and that is the reason why it will take 3 months for us to complete this particular syllabus. As I have written in the document itself, the prospector or the syllabus, what you have got it right. Clearly, I have mentioned it. It will take 3 months of duration for sure. Why? Because I have to teach these many concepts. Okay, what is this course is all about? If you want to learn, you can just look into this particular topic what I've written here. I hope everyone has this particular syllabus. If you want, I can share it in the teams as well. Okay, what are the certifications you can plan? If you are interested, I've written here like fundamentals or AWS Solution Architect Associate or AWS Solution Architect Professional. This is advanced. Okay. If you want to learn, if you want to do certification on Kubernetes as well, I can help you out. Certification on Kubernetes or Terraform, I can help you out personally. No hesitations in that. Okay. And project. Project is all about, we already have some project which is already deployed and we already have it ready. Our internal project itself, I will be sharing you and I will be showing you how to deploy it end to end. So that particular knowledge will help you to attend the interview, to talk to the interviewer as if you have worked in a project. See, for example, some people might be adding some particular fake experience or not a genuine experience at all. For them to answer in the interview, you have to know, you have to be in a position to answer that I worked on so and so project. I worked on in this particular implementation. I did this integration part and all. How will you answer them? Only when you did some particular end-to-end project, right? So that is where the project I will be sharing. It is more of a 3-tier application what we have. And not only that, resume preparation and all, I'll show you how to do it in resume.io. There's an application called resume.io where we can build our own resume with the proper data, which looks really good. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So resume preparation, how to see each and every topic. I will ask you the questions. Ask you the questions in the sense I will give you the task. For example, I will show you once. Classroom dot sorry. That's com. You are able to see here. Okay. I hope you are able to see. So in this, for every batch, we create a what do you say? A group classroom. In that, I will share all the documents and everything, and I will give you the questions as well, like task. We call it as classwork. You can see Linux task like questions. You have to submit, answer them. Okay. So these are the things what I'm going to teach you in this particular entire training program. I'll give you this particular PDF file in the chat as well. You can utilize it. And try to share. I think, can I share the document? I don't think so. I cannot share any attachment. Let me see. Even in QA, I can't. It's not possible. That's okay. Our organization will share you this particular document. Yeah, Anup. Now we can pick up the QA questions if you have any. Yeah, Anup.
Yes, Sudhams, I can see in my current project, we are using few services from AWS. Okay, and Jenkins, we are using Kubernetes pods for deployment. So, just wanted to know after completion of this course, can I get means will I get confident to directly work with the DevOps team?
Yes, obviously. Yeah. Just 1 second.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, it's possible.
Nowadays Kubernetes pods configuration and basic things we are doing managing resources. So as a I'm a Java developer basically, but wanted to know more about this DevOps process, and now the requirement coming from the client that they want Java developer with the DevOps skills. So like that, so just
Which
wanted to
means that,
know.
for example, I'll tell you, in Docker and Kubernetes, what is your role as a Java developer? You need to know how to write a Docker file. Okay, how
Correct.
efficiently you will write a Docker file, right? Because so that what are the Java program you have written, you have to compile it, and then you have to make sure it is running as an code or a software, some application, right? So you need to know how to write a Docker file. You need to know what are the parameters you have are important. You have to minimize the Docker file size of the image as much as possible, right? All these factors, if you want to know, you have to know about Docker and Kubernetes, how to deploy it, how it will run, how efficient it will work based on the Docker file I have written. All these factors comes into picture.
Yeah, and the tool I think DKP2 tool is there for Kubernetes, and Argo CD we are using that tool.
Argo CD we are not using right now. Argo CD health charts I'm not teaching in this particular syllabus. Why? Because it will take some more days as well. If you really want to go through it, I will give you one particular channel. You can go through that particular my recordings actually, where you can look into Argo CD or health chats related topics.
Okay, sure.
I'll be teaching you how to deploy the manifest files, means YAML files on the Kubernetes cluster.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, you know manifest, right? Manifest is nothing but bulk of YAML files. As
Yes,
simple as that.
so,
Yes.
So what's the
Anup?
difference between SRE and DevOps?
So for your question to answer, yeah.
Yeah.
See, DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE. Keep SRE aside. DevOps and DevSecOps is more of a same platform. See, additionally, you are adding security to your DevOps cycle. What does it mean? Earlier, security is a different platform. After the DevOps is there, DevOps, we have a lot of tools, right? Like Git, let us say Ansible, Terraform, all these particular things into come into picture. What used to happen after the product has been developed or deployed, then security team used to come into picture as part of QA platform, and they used to do some particular testing. They used to found some particular bugs or inconsistency or some particular gaps or some particular vulnerabilities or some XYZ reason. Now, this particular security part they want to include as part of the DevOps cycle, means CI/CD itself. What is the benefit do we get? While you're writing your code, after you have written the code, before compiling it, I can find out what are the vulnerabilities or the bugs. All these things can be identified, right? Security is all about not only code level. I would say it is operating system level, application code level, application level, platform level, infrastructure level. All these particular areas we have to do your security part. Now, in order to do that particular security check, what are the tools we need to identify? And can we use that particular tools in the automation process? Will you run that particular tools manually? Organizations may not accept it until unless it is not feasible to integrate them. We will do it manually. But most of the cases we have tools now available where we can automate the process and we can integrate into the CI/CD pipelines. Now we have to identify that particular tools. We have to learn about them, like SAST, DAST, vulnerabilities, the terminology is what I'm talking about. Vulnerabilities, static code analysis, all these particular points which I'm talking about, we have to identify the tools. What I will be teaching as well, like SonarQube, other tools what we have, and we'll be integrating them in the CI/CD pipelines. That's the end of the thing what we'll be learning in the DevSecOps. And this particular training program will start from maybe from this next week, Tuesday, I guess. Timings, it might be 7 to 8 or 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. We'll update you by any chance.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, Mohit.
You told that Terraform is used to manage the infrastructure.
Yes.
Yes. Then why we need the cloud if
Okay.
Terraform is used to manage the infrastructure?
Okay. Where is your infra?
Sorry,
Where is your infra then?
infra like in cloud like AWS, Azure.
Same point. See, your infra is in cloud. So
Okay.
how will you create your infrastructure? Will you create it manually? You will go to log into the console, go step by step and create it. That is not the case, right? Maybe for practice purpose initially we might be using in this course, but what in real time? We don't use those kind of manual steps. We use Terraform. So you'll tell your Terraform that please go and launch the EC2 instance. You'll write a simple file for that. Now, when you tell that particular information to that particular Terraform, now when you trigger that particular Terraform will go and talk to the AWS, and then it will try to create a server for you. That's what your Terraform will do for you. You got the point? What I'm saying?
Yes, I got your point.
Okay.
But like then in this case, like we are using the Terraform. Then in this case, we don't want to launch an instance like EC2 or any other instance in the AWS.
Don't want to launch in the sense? I didn't get you.
No. You told that na? The Terraform
Okay.
will it will talk to the this cloud and it will for manage it will launch a server in the cloud.
Yes. Let me share you one screen. Okay. You might get some picture onto it. Okay. I'll tell you, for example, I'll show you one diagram so that you will understand. Yeah. See, you will run some command, Terraform command, and that will talk to AWS. Okay. And then it will create a server for you if you want. Okay. If you want, it will create a server for you. If you don't want, if you run Terraform destroy command, it will destroy it.
Okay, sir.
See, simple thing. Mohit, right? Yeah. Mohit, if you want to manage your infra on AWS, we don't do it manually. We do it through Terraform. Or in AWS itself, we have a service called CloudFormation template. Why I'm not talking about that? If you learn CloudFormation template, it is only for AWS. Tomorrow, if I switch my career, or maybe your organization is using some services in AWS, some services in GCP, or some services in Azure, then what are the skills I have learned in AWS CloudFormation template? Can I use those particular skills in Azure? No. Can I use it in GCP? No. Then what is a common tool for us to manage the infra across the clouds? Terraform. Is that answered your question now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi sir. Yeah, hi sir. Good evening.
Hi. Yeah.
Sir, is the deployment process the same for the Azure and the AWS?
A
In the
deployment, you mean to say?
CI/CD
See,
pipeline.
service names might be different. Let me tell you. See, you have many cloud providers, right? Underlying, when we talk about compute, networking, storage, authentication, it is the same topic. The terminologies, what we speak about, what we learn about, it is the same. The only thing is how you create that particular component, the approach might get changed. For example, I'll tell you one simple example. In AWS, it is called as EC2 instance to create a server. In Azure, it is called as virtual machine. In GCP, it is called as compute engine. Though the terminal service names are different, the end goal of creating a server is the same. I want to create a server. See, for example, if I try to go to ActFiber, GeoFiber, or let us say, what do we have? Excitel, anything else? Airtel, all the organizations are different. But the end goal is I want internet to my home. Similar thing. Your cloud service providers as well.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have to be good at the basics. If you learn the basics a lot, right? See, initially you will struggle for sure because you might know or you have never come across that particular terminologies and all. Initially you will struggle to understand, but once you have some particular grip on that particular topic, right, you can sustain for longer periods. That's what I'm trying to convey. Okay.
I have a basic questions actually.
Yeah, Prakash.
In Linux, what is the difference between hard link and soft link?
Sorry?
In
Hard link
Linux, what is the difference between hard link and soft link?
Haha, okay. Simple example I'll tell you. For example, if I update one file, there will be one particular link that you have created, soft link. That particular file also will get updated. So there is a requirement like that for me. If I update in a file A, I created a link to file B. Okay. So if I update a file A, it will update file B also. That is called as soft link. Even hard link also, it will happen in the same way. Now, what is the difference between these two? Soft link will not occupy the disk space because it is just a link. Okay, it will not occupy the physical space of your disk. Whereas hard link, what are the, for example, I'll tell you, in our Windows system, I'll show you one example. Okay, let us say you are in this particular D folder. Okay, I copied one particular file from here and I pasted here. Now tell me, will it increase the disk space and all?
If you copy folder,
I copied one file here and I pasted here one file.
yeah, it will take
It will occupy the same space, same size. For example, here if you have a 10 GB of file, you pasted a 10 GB of file, what will happen now? 20 GB of disk space is occupied. That is hard link. Okay.
So
what is soft link?
Yeah.
What is soft link? I will copy a file here and I will create a link. Link in the sense what? It is just only a connectivity, but it will not occupy the space here. It will occupy only in KB of size. Now, if I update a file here, it will update the data here as well. That is soft link.
So then in that, what is the difference between copy and hard link? Because we are occupying the same space, right?
No, I'll tell you. See, copy will not occupy the space of the disk. What I mean to say here, if you have a 10 GB of file, you created a link under this particular directory. What does it mean? It will not occupy another 10 GB. It will be 1 KB or 2 KB like that. But if I try to create a hard link, here if it is 10 GB, if I create a hard link under this particular folder, it will also show as 20 GB, 10 GB additionally. Now what is the disk space totally? 20 GB. Additional 10 GB was occupied, right, on your disk. So,
yeah, so in that case,
disk is, yeah.
Hard link and copy is same, right? Because Control C, Control V will also do the same thing.
No, I'm just giving one example. I'm just saying you that that is just an example. Now, that is one thing. So, disk will be occupied more in hard link when compared with soft link. That is one scenario. Second scenario is nothing but if you delete your A file, let us say I created a link from A to B. Now, if you delete a link A file, what will happen to the B file in soft link? You cannot update a B file because it is a linked, right? Your source file is deleted. What will happen to the B file? You cannot access it. Whereas in hard link, those files are individual. If you delete a file, still I can access a B file. That is a basic difference between hard link and soft.
So can I say like hard link and copy both are same thing in this case?
No. You can't say like that.
Because when you copy, it happens the same way, right? You make a duplicate storage, and if you delete the original copy, it will retain the copy.
Yeah. Hope you are able to see the screen, right? Now let us say you have a file. Now you created a link. Let us say this is called as B. Now you update something here, it will reflect here as well. Okay. Let us say about hard link. You created a hard link. Let us say from A, let us say to B. Same scenario. Here if you have updated the file A, it will update the B as well. Now what is the difference is a question, right? Now let us say here if it is 10 GB of size. First let me talk about the disk space. Now what will be the size of this particular B file? It is just a link. It is just a link. It doesn't occupy the disk space additionally because since we have created a new file. See, this is just a link. it is not occupying the space on the disk. Now here, when you try to create a hard link, the original file size is 10 GB. When you try to create a hard link on this particular B file, it will also show as 10 GB. Now what will happen because of this? The disk is getting occupied. The disk is getting shinked, right? Shink in the sense what? More space is getting occupied because of this hard link. Okay. Is this clear, this particular point? Then I will talk about second point.
Yeah, this is clear.
Okay. Now, what will happen if I delete a file? Can you access the B file?
No.
No, we can't access. Okay, because it is linked to this particular A file. Without having this, you cannot access this one. If you already have a file, I can see this particular file. I can modify this particular file. I can add some content. Everything is possible. Okay, now, what will happen if I delete this particular file, A file? Can I access a B file?
Yeah, we can access.
Yes, we can access. Okay, that is all about hard link. Second point. Depends upon your scenario.
So, but
whichever
again,
you want.
Yeah, so again, the third point I asked, if I copy just a Control C, Control V, then also it will behave in the same way. If I delete the A, then B still will be available, right?
If you say copy and paste, if I update in this particular file, will it update in the paste file?
No, not in this thing. I'm talking about the, suppose let's say the third scenario where we are copying the A file as a copy paste, and there will be another files.
You can do that. See, but here the scenario of link in the sense what? Whenever you update a file, it should update the B file as well. So will you go and manually update the B file?
No.
That is a double work, right? So if I update a file or if I modify the A file, automatically it should update the B file without me doing it. Then so what you are supposed to do? Create a link.
Okay. So basically, even with copy paste will just duplicate. I mean, there will be separate space and
copy paste is simple. Like at that time, what are the data you have in that file that will get pasted into that particular destination location. After that, if you do any changes also, it will not be there in the pasted file in the location where you have done it.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Got it, right?
Yes.
If other people have not understood, you can ignore it. That's not an important thing right now. Any other questions, please?
Hi. Actually, are we covering Python script?
No, this particular course is not about Python. If you are really interested, we will, if you are interested after this completion of the course, if you want, there will be another batch. You can continue with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So whoever has
question.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So first of all, I just wanted to know, like, I hold experience of 2.5 years in the field of analyst. Okay, but I have a gap of around 2 years.
Gap of 2 years.
Yeah.
See, these things. See, I'll tell you. To be transparent and all. See, the gap in the sense you know how to handle it, right? So we have to handle it. If I need to handle that particular gap, I have to be strong enough in the technology, right? What are the topics you are learning right now? If you learn thoroughly and if you have good command on the particular topic, gap doesn't matter. You have to give a justification. See, even if you are full knowledge, you have good amount of knowledge on this particular technology, they will ask you why you got a gap of 2 years. You have to give your own justification, nothing to do with from my side or the organization side. Anyone cannot tell you what to do in that. You have to give a proper justification. Let's say some family commitments, other things what I have. They have to convince, right? With your sentence what you have told. Then if you are good enough, you are knowledgeable, obviously they will take this particular point into consideration and they will give you the offer. It depends, right?
Okay.
I cannot give a blind answer saying that yes, they will accept this, your gap and all these things. It's not possible in all the scenarios.
Okay. So actually, I just wanted to know, like, my 2.5 years of experience in the past will be considered at the time of hiring or not?
They will consider. They'll consider only 2.5. They'll not consider 5.
Yeah, of course.
And based on that also, the salary and everything will come into picture. You got it right.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes. Hi, Mohit.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir. Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, can I know what is the difference between pods and container?
Huh? Sorry, come again.
Sir, my question is, I want to know what is the difference between pods and container.
Host and container. Okay.
No. Pods.
Huh?
Pods and container.
Can you type it out? I'm not able to hear properly from my side. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I can write.
Yeah. Any other questions meanwhile? Pods. Oh, okay. Got you. See, pod is a group of containers. It's a logical layer in Kubernetes, right? I'll tell you in a simple term, Mohit. I got your point. Thanks for that as well. Who posted it? Okay. Container is nothing but where you will actually run your application inside it. Okay. Pod is a group of containers. Logically, you will group multiple containers together to have some additional functionality. To get some additional functionality in Kubernetes, we will not call it as a container. We'll call it as a pod. But beyond the picture, it is a container. So pod is a group of containers. It might have one container or more than one container. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. You will understand this particular, all the topics what you have asked, right?
Yes,
you will
sir.
understand in this. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I can understand.
In Docker, we'll call it as a container. I'll tell you in simple terms. In Docker, we call it as a container. In Kubernetes, we'll call it as a pod.
Okay. And inside the container, we can run multiple applications, like?
No, technically, we will run only one application inside a container. That's a requirement.
Okay.
You will not run more than one application. Okay.
Okay. And sir, you will cover in this course. You will cover like networking basic concept, like what is the DNS server?
Networking as well. Like what is DNS? What is root server? What is route? Sorry, what is A record? AMX record? DNS record? Sorry, NS record? TXT record? SPF record? All this, and then what is IP address? What is router? What is switch? What is class A network? Class B? Class C? Class E? Class D? And what is gateway, what is subnet, how to calculate an IP address. That fundamentals I'll be teaching you. Then I will jump into the actual VPC concept in AWS.
Okay.
Yeah. I told you right. Basics will be covered. Same points I think I've written in the document as well. Maybe if you go through the networking part, somewhere I have already written that. Let me just show you. You can see here, networking fundamentals. Okay. So when I talk about VPC, first I will start with that. Then I will teach you what is VPC, what is subnet, routing, VPC peering, transit gateway, VPN, VPC private link, DHCP options, what is auto scaling, all this.
And
okay,
this
guys.
OSI layers, these layers like OSI.
Sorry.
Layers in the OSI. Open system interconnection. Yes.
Layers.
Yes. Like application layer, physical layer.
Oh, okay. You're talking about OSI layers, right?
Yes. I'm talking.
Yeah, there are 7 layers that you have to know what are those as part of load balancer. What is layer 7 load balancing? What is layer 4 load balancing? Network load balancer, application load balancer we'll be talking about, right? In AWS. For example, here. We have to talk about OSI ISO layers. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Can we run Windows on container, Kubernetes container?
Yes, we can. But if you have installed Docker and Kubernetes on a Linux operating system, we can't run Windows containers. Okay, that is a known, limitation what we have in containerization technology. If let us say you have a Linux system, on that you have installed Docker and Kubernetes, right? On Linux system, you cannot run Windows containers. But on Windows Server, if you install Docker and Kubernetes, I can run Windows container, and I can run Linux container as well. It's possible.
So this means the underlying OS
Operating
will still
system.
be used by the containers, right?
Yes, yes. The underlying, I would say, the underlying kernel is used by your containers for the resource allocation. That's the reason why containers are called as software virtualization. Virtual machines are called as hardware level virtualization. That is a terminology.
Okay, sir. But problem is that, sir, when we install the Docker on our Windows, like a Windows machine, then there are some problems, sir. It will not support the Linux command. Windows.
It will support. If you want, I can show you how to deploy it.
Okay.
In the syllabus, I'm talking about. In the curriculum, when we come across that topic, I'll show you practically. If you are facing that challenge, for sure.
Okay.
But we never use Docker and Kubernetes on Windows system. We use Linux.
Okay. But sir, I think we can use this Docker and Kubernetes, we can use in the AWS cloud also.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to teach, right? ECS, EKS, which I have written here. You can see.
Yes.
I hope we are good with all the questions. I hope I have answered everything. Thanks for joining for the demo, guys. And when we are going to start this particular sessions and all, as I told you, maybe in Tuesday for sure, 100%. But our team will be contacting you, okay? And they will let you know what are the timings and all. Probably it will be from 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 morning IST. Thank you all. Have a nice day.